Hey everybody, you are not on the lawn with John today. In fact, we are somewhere else entirely, on the summit of a low hill. I'm at about 8,500 feet right now, parallel to the Deer Valley Ski Resort, which is back behind me here. Came up to the top of this thing today, just kind of get a little perspective. I like to do that. I like to get up high every now and again and look around when I have a few moments of silence. It's nice to be able to get out, and I figured what better time to talk about soil. That's weird, but that's what I'm gonna do. So check this out. You know, you've heard me say, especially if you read some of my writings, and you know, probably heard me say this before about soil is not there to hold plants. Plants are here to hold soil in place. And you find that in the most apparent places, okay? Why do weeds grow in the cracks of the sidewalk? Why is it on old roads? Why grass will start to poke through and find its way into these nooks and crannies? It's because of this just small amount of soil. Okay, here we're on the top of a little cliff. It's a tiny little thing. Goes off down here. You can see where the scrub oak grows beautifully. And we've got sort of a mix of like this sort of sandy, you know, breaking down rock. And then in areas where the wind kind of brings in some soil coming across, especially up here, there's a breeze all the time. If you can't tell right now, we get this little thin layer of dust through the rocks, and these little plants take hold just wherever they can. Now, the beauty of that is that they're setting roots to hold this soil in place, and then ultimately they'll fill this whole thing in. And now we have another area that is sequestering carbon, respirating, breathing, creating more living tissue, allowing for greater plant life to take place. Now, this is a dry, very arid climate. Moisture comes in the winter time, and it's really only in the form of about like 26 inches of total rainfall a year is how that would break down, even though we get hundreds of inches of snow. In fact, here, just across from me, 300 to 350 inches a year is what would happen in this area, but we don't really get much in the summertime except for these little pop-up sort of monsoonal type summer storms. So this is what's really important here, is that your soil, whatever it is, any of this here, is going to try to attract life, okay? It can't stay barren like this because it'll just die and blow away. It loses the life. The biology doesn't have anything to cling to if there's no living matter inside of it. Okay, and that's really all that's sort of reshaping these areas to build this beautiful, you know, it's gorgeous, just perfectly balanced. The wildflowers that grow, you know, through this oaks and different mesquites and things that come at this elevation, and it's all just clinging into this very thin soil structure. I mean, it's rock. And so all of this, in order to keep it from eroding and washing down and being lost, is attracting this. It's beautiful. And you can see, I don't know, the butterflies and the crickets and everything else that just kind of lives here harmoniously. And now, this is the one thing that kind of blows a lot of people away, is that not only does all this grow up here at this elevation, but so do these. We have a very cool, diverse ecosystem here in the Wasatch, and I just wanted to share that. Now, here's how this is going to equate to your lawn care, all right? If you kill a weed, or if you have a bare spot, any bare spot in your grass, something is going to try to grow because the soil is attracting that in there to hold itself in place. It is for the soil's life. So whenever there's something missing, if there's a plant missing from soil, it's going to try to get filled up by something. So just remember that. If you're in an area where maybe your sprinklers aren't covering, or there's some sort of maybe any sort of damage, okay, where your grass gets thinner, you're going to have a weed infestation around the edges of your driveways where you weed eat too short, places like that. So just keep in mind that you want to keep that grass can nice and thick, mow it a little taller, make it a little more drought tolerant. Try not to take too much off of it because it'll stress out the roots, and that's how you're going to have the best overall result. So there you go. Just wanted to give you guys a little share of my personal paradise, and we'll see y'all real soon.